Hey, you guys, Sarah Pacaro here. Have you ever asked yourself the question, why? Why did I end up with a narcissist? What was it that led me to being with a narcissist? You realize you've been with one, in many cases, more than one. If you take an honest look at your resume, relationship resume, and your past history, you realize you've been with more than one. You've been with several. That was the case in my life anyway. I met the first one, well, when I was born, actually, but the first one that I decided to enter into a relationship with when I was 21. Very, very, very easy to manipulate. I didn't have a lot of friends. I was very quiet, introverted, and shy. I was this feeling of I didn't was very, very insecure, and narcissists pick up on that. 3 weeks after that one, which was a marriage, ended, entered into a relationship with another narcissist, but I didn't know it because they were very, very different. The first, what I came to find out later, was very covert. Second was malignant. And we're not going to get into different types of narcissists in this video. What we are going to get into is the question of why. Why did you, most likely a caring, loving, intelligent, independent, confident person, end up with this type of person, end up with a narcissist? Why did you end up with a narcissist? And you're on your journey to healing and discovering more about yourself, because obviously you want to break that cycle. It is extremely damaging on a mental level, emotional, spiritual, physical, financial level, to be in a relationship with a narcissist and you never, ever, ever, ever want to experience that ever again. So you've got to figure out where you fit into this equation and how you entered into this relationship with a narcissist. Well, you did not get to be an adult without first having been a child. We all go through childhood, and that is actually what takes us into this beautiful journey called adulthood. So, if we're going to figure out the answer to that question of why or how, we've got to take a look, right, at where it all goes back to, what it's all connected and related to. Uh, it's like a dominoes, and the narcissist is like that last domino to fall down, but all these others stacked on top of it fell down. In a word, in a sense, really what it comes down to is you had unmet needs, inner unmet needs that you thought the narcissist could meet. You thought, when you first met them and you entered into that love bombing phase, that your life would, be forever amazing with this person because that's what they promised you in the love bombing phase, and you felt whisked away, like swept off your feet. But now you realize that was all fake, and it was a mask, and it didn't really exist at all. And so you're trying to figure out and discover why. And if you look back at the evidence of your life, you realize in your past, in your childhood, in your upbringing, you had a lot of experiences where you had emotional needs that went unmet, and now you see the similarity between these past unmet emotional needs and the unmet emotional needs that were very, very prevalent in this relationship with the narcissist. So it does link back to what is called childhood emotional neglect, or CEN. And sadly, I had a really hard time wrapping my head around this because I have good parents, and I know that they're good parents. They're not perfect, but there is no such thing as perfect parents, and they truly did the best they could with what they had. But I still ended up in severely emotionally abusive relationships because I realized I had emotional needs that went unmet from my past that basically magnetized me to this narcissist. And I imagine if you're taking an honest look at yourself, giving yourself and your life a true evaluation, you're going to see these links and connections here. So what it is, childhood emotional neglect is the result of your parents' inability to validate and respond adequately to your emotional needs. Childhood emotional neglect is really, really difficult to identify because it's not what happened in childhood, it's more about what didn't happen. So, unmet needs, what didn't happen. And it doesn't leave visible bruises, it doesn't leave visible scars. So, you look and you think, gosh, I'm a beautiful, strong, confident, healthy person. So I don't get it, right? And it's those invisible bruises and scars that are really, really hurtful, really confusing for children. Every client that I work with, they're so confused. They just don't get it. And that's this feeling of overwhelm and exhaustion, of emptiness, of numbness. So we're going to talk about some of the symptoms of childhood emotional neglect, because you'll see they're the same symptoms that you have when you're in a relationship with a narcissist. Those symptoms of childhood emotional neglect are basically just unmet needs, or feeling empty, feeling of emptiness, feeling of loneliness, feeling that something is fundamentally wrong with you. These, remember, the same symptoms that are present in the relationship with the narcissist, feeling unfulfilled even when you're successful. Maybe you have amazing children and you've done a successful job parenting, or you have a great job, or you've worked your way up whatever ladder, you're doing well financially, but you still feel that something is fundamentally wrong with you, like there's a puzzle piece of your life missing. Difficulty connecting with most of your feelings, just going, I don't know, right? That the sense of having a loss for words or not feeling anything, just feeling numb to everything. Some people will call that disassociation. It just depends on your view of it and what research you've done, I guess. You bury or you avoid or you numb your feelings. This shows up with, overeating or over drinking, even over exercising, or turning to really negative detrimental behaviors to not feel with your feelings, not sit with your feelings. When you're with other people or in a situation, you feel out of place, you feel that you don't fit in, you don't belong, even though you know logically you should because you have this resume that says, look, I belong here, but you feel out of place or that you don't fit in life, in all situations, or in most situations, I'd say. You have difficulty asking for help and not wanting to depend on other people. And I imagine this is showing up in your life in that narcissistic relationship as codependent behaviors, just saying, you know what, never mind, don't worry about it. I got it. I'll take care of it. I have to do everything around here, right? And then it leads to fights and arguments with the narcissist. Depression, anxiety, you'll notice that you feel depressed and anxious in this relationship. You feel just helpless, like there's nothing you can do. You don't want to feel like that, but inevitably that's just how you feel. You feel high levels of guilt, shame, or anger. You feel rage, and maybe it's with the narcissist. You feel like you didn't do enough, so you feel guilty about that, or you feel angry because you do everything, but they're telling you that you barely do anything. And if it weren't for you, the roof would be falling off the house and there wouldn't be food on the table. And you were doing so much. And so you feel anger about that. You lack deep, intimate connection with people who you want the connection with the most, possibly your kids, other family members, friends. Maybe it is your spouse. Maybe you're in a new, healthy relationship now, but you are thinking about the narcissist all the time and you're unable to deeply connect with your new spouse or partner. You feel different, feel unimportant, feel inadequate. You have difficulty with self-control. Maybe it's over shopping or overspending or overeating, or doing things for yourself because you're just so numb from that narcissistic relationship. You just are like out of your mind, and then you're constantly called selfish or put down or names, told again that you're not good enough. So you just have no sense of self-control, and you just kind of go off. Or you maybe notice a lot of people I've worked with have gone to other practices or therapies and been diagnosed with bipolar disorder or borderline personality disorder because they constantly feel these highs and these lows. That all leaks back to your past, your childhood, and is a contributor to this childhood emotional neglect. You notice that you are people pleasing, you focus on other people's needs, and you always put other people's needs before yours. You always put yourself last and you do everything for everyone else first. And the last thing we'll talk about is just not having a good sense of who you are at all. You don't even know what you like. You don't know what you dislike. You don't know what your strengths or your weaknesses are. And those are really difficult for you to identify. You're good at lots of things, but if I were to ask you, tell me what makes you amazing, you would just say, um, I don't know. So you can see, hopefully, the connection between childhood emotional neglect and having been in narcissistic toxic relationships. If you are at this space now, kind of where those roads meet, those crossroads, and you're looking for a powerful way to heal, you're not interested in getting on medication or just going to a doctor and getting another pill. You've read all the books, you've listened to all the podcasts, and you're looking for something more, something really deep, something really internal to help you heal from within because you're tired of all the feelings and you feel like, I've always felt this way. Well, the reason is because it is connected to your childhood. And you may have had amazing parents, very, very nice, caring, loving parents, maybe just pushed you too hard in one direction and you just felt unsafe, unloved, unseen, unheard, whatever it was. There is a really fast, effective way to heal. And I'd love to talk to you more about that if that's where you're at. So you can click on the link in the descriptions below this video and find more ways for us to connect. Thank you so much. And I look forward to taking you on your journey to healing and sharing more.